So, in addition to that, what are some of the other kind of core reasons that make sleep critical to our mental and physical health?
Well, your body's literally replenishing its glucose levels in your brain, which helps you think, which helps you strategize, which helps you process information throughout the day. And if you have compromised sleep, you're unable to replenish the tank. So imagine going to the gas station and you're planning on driving 300 miles that day. And because you're driving, let's say, between Los Angeles and, Albuquerque in New Mexico as an example, and you go to the gas station and you know that a full tank of gas is going to get you between LA and Albuquerque, right? Because you know it's 300 miles. But then you go to the gas station and instead of filling up the tank, you only fill it up 2/3 of the way. You only put 2/3 of its capacity in there. And then you start driving off to Albuquerque. Well, you're not going to get there, right? It's going to be compromised. Your trip is going to be compromised. So that you get 2/3 of the way, and now you got to find a motel or a campsite, or you got to sleep in the car, or you've got to call the crew to come and bring you gasoline so you can get to the nearest gas station. It's the same thing with our sleep. Like if you want to wake up each morning with a full tank of gas in your brain, then we want to be sleeping the way that nature intended us to sleep. But when we drink alcohol before we go to sleep, or we eat poorly, or we stare into screens late at night without blocking the blue light, or we're sleeping in a hot environment, or we've got light coming in, or we're stressed and we're anxious, and our sleep is therefore compromised, well, then we're waking up each day living a compromised life. We're not getting to Albuquerque. We're just everything is like heavy and it's like, just a little bit irritable. And then you eat a sugary food to give you a kind of a lift, and then you put on a little bit of weight, and then you kind of snap at your wife or your husband or your kids or your friends, or you don't make that additional sales call in your business because you're operating at a 6 or 7 out of 10. And now you're just dying to get through to after work where you can have a drink to relax or sugary food to give you a little bit of energy, or a sofa to slouch on, or a screen to start getting stuck in social media on, just to kind of relieve yourself of the stress. And then the vicious cycle continues. So sleep is everything.
So, what are some of the misconceptions that in working with so many people over the years, as you have had the opportunity to do and learn from people, what do you find are some common misconceptions that people have around sleep?
Yeah, well, everyone is different. It's not true that every single person needs to sleep 8 hours a night. People are different. That's a good benchmark. Like it's a good figure. Anywhere between 7 and 9 hours for an adult is a good range. But it doesn't have to be 8 hours. You can sleep 5 or 6 hours and take an afternoon nap, right? So they've done studies that show that actually can be as effective as if you sleep 8 straight hours. So the duration of your sleep isn't as important as the quality of your sleep. So yes, we should be aiming for 7 or 8 hours of sleep each night, but it's 7 or 8 hours of quality sleep. So just because you go to sleep and you do sleep 8 hours and you wake up and you go, wow, I slept 8 hours, I sleep perfectly. Well, it's actually not as simple as that. Because what was the quality of your sleep? Now, here's a common thing that I get. A lot of people, I don't mean to always bring it back to alcohol, because alcohol doesn't have to be like the only contributor or the only thing that compromises your sleep. But people say to me, but I have a glass of wine at the end of the night and it helps me fall asleep at night. It helps me get sleepy and I fall asleep. Well, that may be true. It may actually make you sleepy and drowsy and help you fall asleep. However, the body is now not getting into that deep restorative phase of sleep because your body is now trying to break down all of the toxins that you've just fed it. The liver is now working to break down the toxins, to get the alcohol out of the system. So yes, you may fall asleep easier because maybe you've had a glass of wine, or maybe you've even, God forbid, you pop a Xanax or some kind of prescription sleep pill, or an Ambien or something at the end of the night. It might put you to sleep, but the quality of your sleep is going to be severely compromised. So it's one thing to wake up and go, I slept 8 hours, but was it a quality 8 hours? And most of the time in the modern world, I would put forward that it's not. It's not quality sleep, because you want to get into that deep restorative sleep rather than just 8 hours of sleep.
We hope you enjoyed this short excerpt from the Health and Healing Club. This entire video, including an in-depth discussion and thoughtful and inspiring questions and answers, is available inside the Health and Healing Club, along with hundreds of hours of premium and exclusive life-changing content, practices, and holistic, natural, and integrative solutions for health and healing. You can start your free trial today at healthandhealingclub.com.